have an author in the studio. He is Kevin Hoffman, and he's written a book called Growing Up Black in White. Now, this is about white families adopting children of color. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's actually my personal experience.
All right.
I was adopted back in '67 in Detroit. I was actually born 2.5 weeks after the riots in Detroit.
Oh my gosh.
And I was adopted by a white minister, his wife, and they had 3 biological children at the time.
Okay, so you were the only black child in a white family, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
In Detroit. What was that like?
Interesting. Back then, I'm biracial, so back then in '67 in Detroit, biracial children in the adoption pool were considered hard to place or special needs. Mm-hmm. So I was luckily placed with this family, and we went through a lot of struggles. My dad was a minister, mm-hmm. and was actually, they tried to kick my dad out of the church for quite a while.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so went through a lot. 9 months after I was born, we initially lived in Dearborn. Mm-hmm. And my parents woke up one night, I was a baby in the crib, and there was a cross burning on the front yard.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, times hopefully in most places have changed quite a bit, and one thing I know you address in your book is this sort of celebrity chic of adopting children from all different races. You know, Brad and Angelina, Madonna, Tom and Katie are all families who have you know, kids of various races. And
right.
So what do you see is the modern dynamic of that sort of family now? Has it become easier, or are there still some of the same problems?
I think there are. That's what I warn. I speak a lot to parents, transracial parents is what we call them. And I warn them that just because my story was 40-some years ago, some of the same problems that my family had, I'm learning families are still having. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I warn them that don't just dismiss it because it happened 40 years ago. There are some real issues that you're going to have to address. One of the biggest issue is don't ignore a child of color. A lot of families want to say, we don't want to treat them different, so we won't identify that they're different. Mm-hmm. And that's the worst thing you can do.
Pretending it doesn't make it go away.
Exactly. I often say, if you had a daughter in the family, would you ignore that she was a woman, which is such a huge part of her? Mm-hmm. That's the same thing with children of race. Don't ignore that they're of color. They see it every day when they look in the mirror. Okay. Yeah.
Some good advice. Well, we're almost out of time, but I want to make sure we tell people about your book. This is what it looks like. It is called Growing Up Black in White by Kevin D. Hoffman, and that's Hoffmann. And you have your own website, growingupblackinwhite.com, where people can obtain a copy of your book. Exactly. And you're also doing a signing, a book launch party at the Toledo Zoo African Lodge, and that is when?
That's tomorrow between 7 and 9. And anybody interested, definitely come out. We'll be signing books, and you'll get to meet a lot of the people that are in the book.
All right.
It's exciting.
Well, thank you, Kevin Hoffman, and that is tonight's Talk Back.